is Meg Wright, and today I will be discussing the removal of the Confederate monuments in New Orleans. There are times in life where you have to say goodbye to the old and hello to the new. After collecting much information on the Civil War, I have come up with my own conclusion on the removal of the Confederate monuments in New Orleans. We all have our own opinion, but today I would like to discuss my outlook on the situation. During my speech, I will discuss an overview of the Civil War, the removal of the Confederate monuments, and my personal opinion on the matter. To begin, let's start off where the Civil War began. Dating back to 1861 to 1865, the North and the South fought in the most deadliest war known. The North and the South had many differences, which led to cause such a major historical event. The cities in the North had a larger population, more wealth, and an industrial advantage. From Kansas up to Minnesota, over to Maine, down to Pennsylvania, and in between, slave trade had died down. Slavery went from 70% down to 40%, leaving cities and factories with immigrant labor workers. On the other hand, the South was known for their farming, cotton, tobacco, etc. From Virginia over to Texas, down to Florida, and in between, the slaves did what they were told. No questions asked. Cited from splcenter.org, the South wanted to retain the legal right to own, buy, sell, and physically and sexually abuse black human beings. After extreme amounts of disagreements, the North and South fought for their rights. The Confederates taking the first shot in Fort Sumter on April 12, 1861, led the Civil War to begin. Quoted from nps.gov, most people believed if slaves were not free, then how can we live by our name, the United States? In 1863, Abraham Lincoln issued a presidential proclamation and executive order called the Emancipation Proclamation. This proclamation gave freedom to slaves in 10 states, excluding Tennessee. Once the slave was free, they had an option to enroll in paid services for the United States. Lasting 4 years in battle, General Robert E. Lee surrendered to General Ulysses S. Grant. Cited from civilwar.org, close to 3 million people fought in battle, leaving more than 6,200,000 soldiers dead. On December 6, 1865, the 13th Amendment was adopted, which outlawed the practice of slavery. To this day, Confederate monuments stand in New Orleans. Between the late 1800s and 1900s, there were several Confederate monuments that were built as a reminder of the brutal war and the white supremacy of the South. The monuments of Robert E. Lee, Jefferson Davis, P.G.T. Beauregard, and the Battle of Liberty Place have the greatest significance to the Civil War. With all the sensitivity about race in the world, this is a major talk in New Orleans. Quoted from Mayor Landrieu, "We, the people of New Orleans, have the power and we have the right to correct these historical wrongs." In December of 2015, the New Orleans City Council voted 6-1 on the mayor's proposal of the removal of the monuments. Several hours after the approval, the U.S. District Court commanded a halt on the removal. In January of 2016, a federal judge dismissed the halt, allowing the process to continue, cited from NewYorkTimes.com. The monuments are still in discussion for the contractor that will be doing the removal. Reading from theadvocate.com, the mayor is taking careful action to ensure safety from the protesters while the removal takes place. There are several different opinions on the issue at stake. With much research about the Civil War and the removal of the Confederate statues, I have come up with my own conclusion on the matter. During that time, people didn't have the resources that we do have now. In the South lived 9 million people, including 3.5 were slaves. In the North lived 21 million people. the North had a much more sustainable amount of resources than the South. Keep in mind that the North allowed free slavery. What the South did was so disgusting, and I don't know why they did it. I agree that the statue should be removed, but not completely. A good point read from the dailybeast.com. You don't see streets in Germany named for Hitler. I think there should be a safe spot for these monuments to give historical facts about the South. Nothing can be unchanged or unbroken, but we can fix what's before us. The more we understand about the reasoning for the Civil War, the more we can make a logical conclusion on the matter of the removal of the Confederate monuments. Known as a slave song, O Lord, O my Lord, O my great Lord, help me from sinking down. Thank you.